What's up, guys? It's Noah from Team Deprived here, and today I'm gonna talk to you guys about my EvilSwarm deck profile. I think EvilSwarms have been a viable deck ever since they came out, like almost a year ago, I think, maybe a little over a year ago, in Hidden Arsenal 7. And they've always been a scary deck. They were really sought after back then, and I think they're a really viable deck, especially now with the meta being what it is. You know, with Mermail and Dragon being a big thing. Really, this deck's toughest matchup is probably Boojin. Inzektor's kind of a tough matchup for this deck, but you don't see too many of that. So I'm just going to go through my deck list and talk about some of my choices and tell me what you guys think. So to start off, we have the 1 Rescue Rabbit. Obviously for your vanillas, which will accompany this fine fellow, are the 3 EvilSwarm Heliotrope. Obviously a main EvilSwarm, gotta play this. 1950, huge attack. He's great to just help beat stick over stuff if you don't happen to have your plays. Currently, you can, like your rank 4 plays, you can always just normal summon this guy, and he's a great wall to just kind of sit on if you don't have a play at the current time. So then to proceed with the EvilSwarm kind of engine, we do the 3 Caster, pretty much staple, along with the 3 Thunderbird, 3 Mandragora, 3 Kyrkion. And that is all the monsters we play. That rounds up the monsters. Pretty much staple EvilSwarm engine. Moving on to the spells, we have the 3 Infestation Pandemic. This card's fantastic. Obviously, it's great for to have your protection for your Ophion and all your EvilSwarm cards. But I have considered bumping this down to 2 because it is kind of cloggy, and it's searchable, you have to remember. So it's obviously good to have it, but being able to search it, 3 is kind of a big number, especially since we do play other protection cards, which I'll go into here in just a second. So maybe considering bumping this down to 2, but for now 3 is good. Moving on, we play 2 Forbidden Lance. As I said, we do play some more protection cards besides Pandemic, Lance being one of them. I also love Lance, not only as a protection, but also as a to help beat stick over those problem monsters, because this deck's, Ophion being this deck's biggest monster, there are a lot of cards out there that can get over Ophion by battle, because obviously you have a lot of spell and trap protection, and so this not only helps with protecting him from spell and traps, but also helps give you that extra edge of attack over your opponent's monsters. So double Lance. To accompany the Lance, I then have 2 Forbidden Dress. This card, again, protection purposes and attack, help with the attack modification to help beat stick over stuff. I like 2 of each, depending on the circumstance. And then we do play 1 Forbidden Chalice, because Chalice is great. I like Chalice because, again, attack modification, but also because, obviously all the protection cards thus far protect from spell and traps, but there's few that protect from monster effects. And so it's nice to have that Chalice in there in case you run into like a bear or something that can pop your Ophion. This always helps with that, so I like the 1 Chalice. Finishing up the spells, we have the 1 Rhoda for the caster, 3 MST because back row hate, and 1 Book of Moon because Book of Moon is Book of Moon, and Book of Moon is great. So that finishes the spells. Moving on to traps, we have the 1 Infestation Infection. I love this card. It's probably my first go-to card for siding out. It is great, but again, it is searchable, and it's really cloggy at more than 1, so I would never play more than 1, but it is a good card. We then play 2 Safe Zone. Again, massive amounts of protection in this deck. You want to keep your Ophion on board as long as you possibly can. And this card's just fantastic. It can also be used in certain situations in which you need to protect something else if you're going for that last bit of damage and you just need to protect a smaller monster. This always helps with that. So 2 Safe Zone. It also helps with the Key Beetle lock, which we'll talk about once I hit the extra deck. We then play 3 Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. I love this card. I think this card generates huge amounts of advantage, sets your opponent back an entire turn. It also helps get rid of problem cards, and it's a great discard outlet for those cards in your hand that you don't need or you can't use, just some clog cards. It is also good for pitching an EvilSwarm from your hand that you don't need for target for Kyrkion. Say you have like a Kyrkion and a Heliotrope in hand, and then you have a Mandragora in grave. You can activate this card. You can bounce one of your opponent's problem cards. You can then, by discarding a Heliotrope, and then you can, on your next turn, normal summon the Kyrkion and then banish the Mandragora to add the Heliotrope, and then normal summon the Heliotrope to make another Ring 4 play. And so this card's very good. To go on along with that card, we then play one Raigeki Break. I like this card, obviously not as much as a Phoenix Wing Windblast, but this card is good for, again, the discard outlet, and the destruction is always good, so I like one Raigeki Break. And then to round off the traps, we have our one-ofs, the Mirror Force, Compulse, Torrent, and Bottomless to round out the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we of course have the staple 3 EvilSwarm Ophion. I absolutely love this card, as any EvilSwarm player should. However, I am considering bumping him down to 2. He is very. He's obviously the main EvilSwarm that you want to go for, but he's really cloggy at 3. He's really cloggy at 3, and I love being able to go into other things, and obviously that one extra deck card that you could have the space for if you take out the second. I've really never even made 3, I think, but once. I really don't think the third one is needed, and so I like 3 Ophion for now, but I might bump it down to 2. So moving on, we have the 1 EvilSwarm Bahamut. I might bump this up to 2. I'm considering taking out the third Ophion and bumping this up to 2. I love that this deck has its own Big Eye, especially since this monster and the monster that it takes can attack, which is an extra kind of effect that Big Eye doesn't have the luxury of having. And so I think that Bahamut's absolutely fantastic, and I might bump it up to 2. We then play the 1 EvilSwarm Thanatos. Thanatos is also just really great, protecting himself from monster effects. He's the only one that can do that, and so there are some situations in which you make Thanatos, and he's just really good. I don't play Ouroboros. I've never, in my entire time of playing EvilSwarm, made Ouroboros. I think I made him one time on DN against an Exodia player to banish one of his pieces from his grave, which completely screwed over his entire deck, and I obviously won that game. But I really don't think Ouroboros is needed in this deck at all. Moving on, we play the 1 Heartland Draco. This card is an absolute game stealer. I would never underestimate this card. I think this card's fantastic. If your opponent's at 2,000 or less, you can obviously just make this and swing for game. It also helps. It kind of puts a wall on board. While it has material, obviously it can't be targeted for attacks, and so it's good to have this if you need an extra bit of protection and you don't have anything else. It can also be used for that. So, like the Heartland Draco. We then play the 1 Key Beetle. Key Beetle is great just because he's Key Beetle and he's a nice 2,500 attack monster, but he's obviously here for the Key Beetle lockdown, which if you don't know what it does, you basically safe zone Key Beetle, so the Key Beetle is not targetable and he can't be destroyed, and then you activate Key Beetle effect and you target safe zone, so safe zone can't be destroyed by card effects. So they're kind of at this indestructible loop. The only way to really get around this is cards that don't target or destroy, kind of like Swords of Concealing Light. I went up against a Ghost Trick player one time who activated Swords of Concealing Light, and he flipped this face down and then ran over it because he obviously only has 800 defense. He ran over it with Ghost Trick Stein. And so there are a few ways around this card, or around this lockdown, but it is really troublesome and pesky for some people to get over, so Key Beetle is always nice. And then for kind of staple 4s, we play 1 Black Ship, 1 Diamond Dyer, 1 Pappy, 1 Blade Armor Ninja, 1 Utopia, and 1 Crazy Box for the Skill Drain. That is only 13 cards. The last 2 cards would be number 101, Silent Honor Arc, and EvilSwarm Exciton Knight, but this is team deprived, and we are poor, and I do not happen to own a copy of either of those cards currently, and so those would be the cards to round out the extra deck for this deck. So moving on to side deck, some of these choices are kind of strange. I'll explain why I have them. We play the 1 Penguin Soldier because Penguin Soldier is great. It's kind of a personal side tech. I really like this card getting around Draco Sack and Battle Unboxer Lead Yoke and other cards that can't be destroyed by battle, or can't be destroyed this card's always really pesky, putting him back in the extra deck. And so I do like the 1 Penguin Soldier. I play 2 DD Crow for Dark World and Dragon and anything that, kind of works around their graveyard, and always getting those cards out of their graveyard's nice. So 2 DD Crow's nice. I play 2 Fossil Dyna for Mermail and Dragon and anything that really special summons a ton. Fossil Dyna's nice. 1 System Down for Girgia. 1 Dime Fissure and Macrocosmos for Bujin, Mermail, Dragon, anything. These cards are just fantastic, and in this deck, it really doesn't neg you really at all, except for Kirkion having these out on board really doesn't hurt you too bad. So I like having those. We then play 2 Trap Stun for Girgia. Is really what I noticed has the most, the biggest trap lineup. But it's always nice for those decks that run a lot of heavy traps to have that Trap Stun handy. So we play 2 Trap Stun. 2 Iron Wall for Dragon, for Bujin. I love this against Bujin, keeping those nasty turtles and hares and stuff from leaving their graveyard. I think it's fantastic. So Iron Wall's great. 2 Curse Shield of Forbidden Spell for Prophecy, because screw Prophecy. And then 1 Rivalry of the Warlords, because Rivalry of the Warlords is a great card. And that's it, guys. That's the EvilSwarm deck profile. I hope I could properly explain some of the choices that I had. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and leave in the comment section below what you guys think, maybe some options on cards you think I should play or shouldn't play. And like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.